April's talk title this morning is Ooh, I Love That.
Sure. Okay, we're going to give this mic a try. I heard it's been cracked, so it's never done it for me. But there's always a first time. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Well, there we go. We'll go with it for now. Oh, it got very loud. So, let's start with a joke. Let's get some laughter in here. So, 3 New Thought hikers out hiking up a mountain. They come to a raging river. It is quite wide. So they think, what are we going to do? We're going to set an intention. So the first hiker goes, all right, I'm going to set an intention that Spirit gives me strength. All of a sudden, huge muscles on the arms, the legs. That hiker dived in that water. It took him an hour, but he got across. So second hiker watches this and says, I'm going to do one better. Going to set an intention for strength, yes, but also for tools to get across. So no sooner did he set the intention, his arms, huge muscles, and a boat appeared, and he rowed across. And it took him a half an hour to get across the river. So the third hiker saw this and learned from the situation and said, okay, I set my intention for strength, I set my intention for tools, and I also set my intention for intelligence. So poof, the third hiker became a woman, read the map, walked 5 minutes up and crossed the bridge. So, what's wonderful about this is we learn from each other. We watch people set intentions, we ourselves set intentions, we move a little bit ahead. Then we watch other people set intentions again, and we learn from our mistakes, and we set better intentions, and life gets easier and easier. So this week, or actually 2 weeks ago, I went to a wonderful play at the warehouse, and I'm wondering if anybody saw it. It's called Every Brilliant Thing.
Yes.
Yes, oh good. Well then we'll be familiar with what's happening today. So in this play, it's a one-man play, and it's about a little boy who started writing down things that made him happy, things that made life worth living. And as he grew, he kept adding to this list. Now his purpose was to cheer up somebody else in his life. And as he kept doing this, he found that it gave his life meaning and set him on a path that he'd never expected. So I kind of borrowed from this wonderful idea, and if I could I have, this is my list of things. I went back and looked at diaries, I looked at writings, I looked at affirmations I made. So when people read these, they're a little worried. It's not about them. This is my list. So can I have number 1?
Chocolate ice cream.
Right. Number 2.
Jumping in leaves.
Number 3.
Birthday cake.
Yes. Number 4.
New pencil crayons.
There's more to it.
Oh, 24 pounds.
Yes. It's 5.
Rolling down hills.
Thank you. 6.
Brushing the top of my dad's brush cut with my hands and watching him smile.
Yes, that's a favorite memory. 7.
Being woken up on a hot summer's night to go skinny dipping at the beach with my mom and cousins.
Yes, and you would think that happened to me a lot by how much that is such an amazing memory for me, but it probably happened twice in my life. But all my cousins never forgot it. Cooking hot, 2 in the morning, Mom woke us up, said, come on, get in the car, drove us all out to the beach, whip it off, jump on the end of the dock. And we just had the most amazing time. We came back. I think we all slept until 10, which was probably her plan in the first place. So, can I get 2 volunteers up here? Sure. Thanks, Lisa. Can you go here? And I just need 1 more. Come on, Linda, you good. Oh, thanks. All right. Now, the reason I'm doing this is when we think about positive things, things in our lives change. It's not just a whim that we talk about religious science. It's a really important principle. So I just kind of want these two people to demonstrate what's happening in your brain when things come up. So Lisa here is going to be the conscious mind. All right? She's analytical. She thinks through things. She deduces which is the best plan. She's also very lazy. This is your conscious mind. Can only hold 4 things at any one time. So when the conscious mind is involved in most things with the 4 things, you're ruminating. So when you think, oh my gosh, the same thoughts keep going through and through my head, it's because your conscious mind can only hold 4. So it's going to be repetitive unless you replace one of the thoughts. This is your subjective mind. This mind is very, very busy. It's doing all the tasks. It's making everything run. It's driving your car. So it learns from where Lisa here does her task. She does it many, many times. The subjective mind figures out the pattern. So after a while, this mind doesn't have to think about it. This mind doesn't. That's what happens when you positive think. Something comes up. Lisa consciously chooses to change her mind. She does it over and over and over again. And subjective mind says, there's a pattern. So without even conscious mind in the future thinking about it, subjective mind starts to do it. Are we kind of clear on this? Kind of give you an example. You have a ball and a bat. Combined, they cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much was the ball? You would think so. No. That's because your conscious mind is really lazy and it doesn't like to check things. It's actually 5 cents. It would be $1.20 if the ball was 10 cents because the bat would have to be $1.10. Get it? But if you sat with it a minute and allowed your conscious mind, so it just kind of is a demonstration, not of your math skills. It's a demonstration on how this will take over, see a pattern, and this sometimes won't check it. So thank you very much, guys. So remember, when you say something and you wonder, oh, darn, why did I say that? It's your subjective mind was jumping in. So don't beat yourself up. It's just a pattern you got to change. So, can I hear 607?
Second for my first kiss.
Thank you. 608.
Scoring the winning point.
Woo! 609.
Teaching kindergarten children to skate.
610.
Finding a stray dog and getting to keep her after your mom made you go to and ask everyone in town if it was theirs. Which was probably, in reality, my block.
Yes. I was so mad at her. But that last house, when they said no, I was the happiest girl in that town. 611.
Front yard full of daisies.
Yes, thank you. So, behavioral scientists have observed some interesting differences between optimists and pessimists. Besides the fact that optimists are more persevering and successful in life, they also tend to have better physical health. Being optimistic involves highly desirable cognitive, emotional, motivational components, and that is from a book called Happy Brain, Happy Life. So, what is happening in the brain? And according to a researcher, Dr. Lou Whitaker, negative thoughts. So, negative thoughts weren't a terrible thing. They were developed in way long ago when our ancestors were walking down a road and a bear jumped in their path. That negative thought got them the heck out of there. It took all the blood from their brain and put it to their extremities so you could run. So it wasn't a bad thing. The problem is, most of us don't have bears jumping in our paths anymore. and what we face aren't of this type of flight and fright need from our So, what happens when you do get angry, fearful, with the brain? Does anybody have any ideas?
Blood pressure.
Yeah, the brain literally closes down. It doesn't function like you would want it to. So it slows down brain coordination. It makes it difficult to process thoughts and find solutions. Try doing a math equation if you're really, really mad, or finding the right words to put your argument forward. Hinders creative ability. I don't think a lot of songs are written by angry people. It could be wrong, but it's just an idea. Decreases the activity in the cerebellum. Impacts the temporal lobe, which is your fear factor, and affecting mood, memory, impulse control. So, not a lot of great things. So, let's hear more from the list. 2011.
Hearing I love you.
2012.
My first concert.
2013.
A hairdresser that listens.
Woo! 2014.
The Bay City Rollers.
Yes, Saturday night. Woo! So, if the negative thoughts do that to the mind, what do positive thoughts do? Well, everybody remembers synapses? It used to be, they taught about brain function in like grade 10. My 11-year-old nephew told me they're learning it now. So synapses, they're a wonderful thing. They kind of look like this. They got all these little fibers. There's a little break between them. And when you have an idea, a little spark goes from here, and it jumps over to here. And you have so many of these in your brain. When you're thinking, they're firing all the time. Positive thinking actually increases them. So you get more. So have you heard about, they used to believe the brain was hardwired at 25. Now they know anybody can change their brain. Just takes repetition. Just takes new grooves, making new synaptic endings. So areas connecting neurons increase dynamically. Increase mental productivity by improving cognition. So what it means is you've got more of your brain to use. So you will be smarter. Intensifies the ability to pay attention, to focus. Improves ability to think and analyze incoming data. And improves the ability to solve problems quicker and enhance creativity. Sounds pretty good. So why aren't we all doing this all the time? Can I hear 10,150?
Seeing the Ferris wheel all lit up from your bedroom window.
Thank you. 10,151.
Finding a sheltered spot in the middle of February and feeling the warmth of the sun on your face.
Thank you. 10,152.
Fractals.
Fractals, yes. 10,153.
The cool side of your pillow.
Isn't that heaven? So Robert Fredrickson, who's a researcher on positivity, and yes, they have them now, from North Carolina University. She says, you are an optimist, you try things and you build skills. And it's called the broaden and build theory. And what her idea is, or what she's been studying, is if you're an optimist as a child, you go try things, right? There's no restriction on you. You climb that tree, you roll down that hill, you go fishing, you wade in the creek, you wade in the ditches, you get fascinated by gasoline floating on top of mud puddles. If anybody's seen it, it makes a beautiful rainbow. There are all these things that you do. So when you're out there doing it as a child, you're building skills. You're building skills of athletic ability, of observation, of curiosity. All those things create a better student. So then you hit high school and you've got these skills and you feel confident. Your teachers make you feel confident. You feel confident on your team because yes, you did get a participatory trophy when you tried out for soccer, but it made you feel good. You felt included. So therefore, you build more skills. You don't close yourself off. You become more communicative. You reach out to people. That skill gets built up. That carries you to university if you so choose, or into the job market. So tell me, does someone with really good communication skills that walks into that office and has energy and is willing to try things and be creative is not an employee most of us would love? And how about a boss? That'd be an amazing boss. So there is a practicality to this thinking. So many of us, I think, in this teaching we hear, oh, that's Pollyanna thinking, right? Like Pollyanna was a bad thing. Has anybody watched the movie? In the end, they bring her all these special things and everybody that wasn't getting along gets along. I never understood why that was an insult. So somebody says, oh, well, that's Pollyanna. I just say, thank you now. Because that means that I am walking the walk and talking the talk. So people think it's easy, and at the beginning, it's not. When you start realizing how many times you shift to that negative place, and how many times you have to correct your own thinking, it can get discouraging at the beginning. But please believe me, the brain shifts really fast. That subjective mind, it starts to get that pattern. It starts to say, oh no, we don't do that anymore. We don't get jealous of that person that goes on a holiday. We know we're going on a holiday. We don't get envious or sad or angry. We don't go that low anymore. That's not our pattern. We change it. And that changing means everything when it comes to this spiritual teaching. So, as Ernest Holmes said, life is a mirror, and we'll reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. And that's by Ernest Holmes. So, what does that mean? It means that all this positive thinking, where does it go? Right back to you. Right? You recognize things. Life becomes easier. Life becomes sweeter. Life becomes an expectation of something greater than what we knew before. And it just keeps growing and growing. So, why is that important? Well, we do a thing here called affirmative prayer. You heard Elizabeth do it at the beginning. And with affirmative prayer, we don't say, oh, we do prayer, or we do a kind of prayer. We say affirmative, positive. We state everything as it is. So I'm not going to say in my prayer or my prayer treatment, well, the stomach was a little upset this morning, I know. And I know I shouldn't have maybe ate that pizza last night. We don't affirm those things, right? We affirm the good things in life, what we want. So if our mind is already attuned to thinking this way, to knowing this way, then it becomes way easier to set our treatments. Also, we know, the more positive we are, the more we see spirit in everything. The more we see the universe's plan. The more we see serendipity in our lives. The more we see those that have transitioned really aren't gone anywhere. They're still here. And those are the wonderful benefits. That's the world we get to live in. Not a world worried about what's happening in another city or down the street or downtown at night. We know the good. And that's what's reflected back to us. And that's what we affirm, and that's what we say in our treatments, and that removes any obstacle in our minds between what we want and the universe manifesting for us. Because remember, we're not trying to convince God of anything. Spirit knows the perfection of everything. It wants us to have everything. It's ourselves. It's our own thought patterns that we're continually trying to change. So, 54,235.
I smell pussy willows.
54,236.
Kamikaze Girl from Wasabi on Broadway.
Yes, it's the best. 54,237.
When something wonderful happens for a friend.
Yes. 54,238.
Crawling into bed with sheets still warm from the dryer.
54,239.
Clean tub.
54,240.
A silver sky with just a touch of pink.
Yes, it's my favorite. Brings me to tears when I see that silver sky. And just that little hint, I think it's a spring color. Sometimes I see it in November. I have no idea what it just triggers pure happiness. Will bring me to tears. So, how can you get this positive feeling in your life? Any ideas?
Affirmations.
Affirmations are good, absolutely. Another one?
Gratitude.
Gratitude, absolutely. Really good.
Meditation.
Meditation, yes. Scientists that have been studying